For thousands of years, every civilization on Earth has told stories of dragons. Massive winged beasts breathing fire, serpents coiled around mountains, creatures so terrifying. They haunted our ancestors' deepest nightmares. But what if I told you dragons were real? Not as myth, not as fantasy, but as ancient creatures whose bones our ancestors actually found. Let's go back to China. 300 BCE, a farmer's shovel strikes something hard. He uncovers a skull the size of a wagon wheel, with teeth like daggers and eye sockets large enough to fit a human fist. He has no word for dinosaur. The term won't exist for another 2,000 years. But he knows exactly what this is. A dragon, the very creature their legends warned them about. In ancient Greece, gold miners in the Gobi Desert discovered the bones of Protoceratops beaked, four-legged creatures with massive frilled skulls. Without modern paleontology, what else could they be but griffins, the legendary guardians of gold? Fast forward to medieval Europe, monks catalogued the bones of giants and dragons found in caves and cliffs. What they were actually finding: Megalosaurus, Iguanodon, massive predators that walked the earth 150 million years before humans. In 1335, a chronicler in Italy described a dragon skull kept in a church. Modern analysis: it was a woolly rhinoceros. But imagine discovering that skull with no concept of prehistoric mammals. The curved horn, the massive bone structure, of course, it was a dragon. The Vikings found enormous bones washing up on beaches, massive ribs, gigantic skulls. They carved them into the bows of their ships, convinced they held dragon magic. They were actually whale bones. But in a world without science, the line between discovery and mythology blurred into one terrifying truth. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. Not all dragons were earthbound. Pterosaurs, flying reptiles with wingspans reaching 35 feet. Imagine ancient peoples discovering these skeletons, elongated skulls with razor teeth, wings made of bone and membrane, claws capable of snatching prey mid-flight. Every dragon legend speaks of wings, of creatures that ruled the skies. In Romania, a region once called Dacia, locals have found pterosaur fossils for centuries. Is it a coincidence that Romanian folklore is saturated with flying serpents called balau, creatures described with uncanny accuracy to what we now know pterosaurs actually looked like? The ancient Mayans carved images of feathered serpents Quetzalcoatl into their temples. In the same regions, paleontologists have unearthed Quetzalcoatlus, the largest flying creature ever to exist. Coincidence? Or cultural memory passed down through generations? But what about the fire? Dragons don't just fly, they breathe destruction itself. Here's the truth ancient peoples knew. The earth itself breathes fire. Volcanoes erupt. Geysers explode. In Iceland, where dragons dominate folklore, volcanic vents have burned for millennia. When you find enormous reptilian skeletons near volcanic regions, the connection becomes inevitable. But there's something else. Something even more extraordinary. Modern science has discovered the bombardier beetle, a creature that literally creates chemical explosions inside its body, spraying boiling liquid at enemies. If a tiny beetle evolved this defense, what could a massive reptile have achieved? Some paleontologists theorize that certain dinosaurs could have produced flammable gases during digestion. One spark, one chemical reaction, and you have literal fire breathing. Not magic, evolution. And then there are the sea serpents. Every coastal civilization has them. The Leviathan, the Midgard serpent, the Loch Ness monster. Why? Because the oceans were full of dragons. Mosasaurus, a marine reptile 50 feet long with jaws that could crush bone. Pliosaurs with teeth longer than kitchen knives. Basilosaurus, a primitive whale so serpentine. Early paleontologists thought it was a sea dragon. These creatures went extinct millions of years ago. But their bones? They wash ashore. They erode from coastal cliffs. Ancient fishermen found them and knew there are monsters in the deep. In Japan, dragon bones have been used in traditional medicine for centuries. Modern analysis shows their fossilized marine reptile remains. The evidence was always there. We just didn't know what we were looking at. So were dragons real? Yes and no. The creatures we call dragons never existed as a single species. But the inspiration, that was carved in bone and stone across every continent. Our ancestors weren't primitive or foolish. They were observers, scientists of their time. When they found massive skeletons with teeth like swords, they created narratives to explain what they discovered. Stories to honor, stories to warn. Dragon myths are humanity's first paleontology, our earliest attempt to understand the titans that came before us. And in every culture, independently, without contact, we came to the same conclusion. There were monsters once. Magnificent, terrifying, real. We stopped calling them dragons. We started calling them dinosaurs. But the truth remains the same. The next time you hear a dragon legend, remember this: somewhere, an ancestor stood before bones that defied imagination, and they told a story that survived millennia, because deep in our genetic memory, we remember the earth belonged to dragons once, and the proof has been buried beneath our feet all along. What ancient mystery should we uncover next? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.